Welcome to the 1457 podcast from Scotland where golf began, a digital platform where we try to inspire golfers near and far to come to Scotland to play golf. You'll find all you need to know through our great photography, short films and stories, and of course, our podcasts. On the web, you'll find us at scotlandwheregolfbegan.com, and on social, you'll find us at Where Golf Began, and Facebook, Scotland Where Golf Began. The 1457 Society, a little offshoot, you can join that for £49. You'll find that on the website, Scotland Golf Began. Come along, come and play golf with us. All sorts of little benefits like membership with the Scotch Whisky Association and so on. So, good evening, Dave Kerr, our co-pilot. How are you?
I am very well, Malcolm. Terrific. How are you?
I'm not bad. A bit of an IT fluster today for me with hearing aids and all sorts, but we won't go there. And Roscoe Flanagan, our Scuzzy Jambo, pressing all the buttons and mostly making them happen. How are you, young man?
Well, thank you, Malcolm, Dave. Good to see you both, and thanks for having me back on your podcast.
So, rankings come along, and the Top100 Golf Courses.com have brought out their rankings. They've done lots of regional different things. So we're going to start with that. Dave, I know you're a panelist. Maybe at the end, if we get time, we'll talk what you do and what the criteria are. But do you want us to run through what you've got on there? Because the great thing about these, whether you agree with them or not, it gets people chatting. And some of the golf courses you may not have known, you might not have heard of, but there's always a good reason. Any golf course you're on, it's a good idea to be there. So do you want to run through them very quickly, Dave?
Absolutely, yeah. So as you say, they've put out regional rankings, the 12 Scottish regions. One of the first ones they put out was about Edinburgh and the Lothians, and as you might imagine, some of the big lights, the big numbers are on there, the greatest hits, as it were. But there's lots of terrific, compelling album tracks in there as well. So I'll just run through the 20 first, and then we can maybe pick out 3 or 4 that maybe don't get the attention they deserve and spend a bit of time talking about them. So I'll do it in reverse order because that feels, because the musician will continue in the musical thing that I've just tried to. So number 20 is the Glen Golf Club down in North Berwick. Next, 19 is the Musselburgh Golf Club. Number 18, Duddingston. Number 17, Royal Musselburgh Golf Club. 16 is Musselburgh Old, the original Old Links, 9 holes. Number 15 is Brunfield Links Golfing Society. Number 14 is the Kunsel Course, Braid Hills. 13 is Stirlton Links at Archerfield. Number 12 is Craigie Law Golf Club. Number 11 is the Federal Links at Archerfield. Now into the top 10. Number 10, Cullen Golf Club's number 3 course. Number 9 is Kilspindie Golf Club. Number 8, Long Nidri Golf Club. Number 7, the number 2 course at Gullen. Number 6, Loughness New. Number 5, Dunbar. 4 is the Renaissance Club. And then the top 3, the number 1 course at Gullen, North Berwick, West Links, and number 1, Muirfield, home of the Honourable Company of Edinburgh Golfers.
Oh, we can't
fine list.
Can't really argue with Muirfield, can we? Roscoe, any comments on that list?
Solid, comprehensive, but as always, there are always going to be a few question marks over rankings, and that's fairly normal. That this isn't the only ranking of golf courses, as we discussed. But Dave, I'm interested at some point to hear about what the criteria is. But for me, it's fairly close to what I would put if I haven't played all the courses, but it's fairly close to sort of where I would go. The thing that stands out for me in North Berwick, number 2, it's risen in all the rankings in recent years. It's up to 35th in the world in some other ranking, global top 100 rankings, or 25th in the world, sorry. So, there are some rises there, but, Braid Hills at number 14.
Braid Hills, come on, talk a wee bit about the Braids. I mean, that is just that's a really interesting one in there. I have so many happy memories of the Braids golf course as a kid. Braids number 2 no longer there, but a kind of blind shot coming up. Second hole, little par 3 coming off. A lot of gorse. You've got to be very accurate to take a lot of golf balls. You've got the Scotsman Trophy played across that by many clubs. Great match play course. I mean, if you come to Scotland and you come around the Edinburgh area, you've got to go and play the Braids. Certainly, if you get any interest in history, you've got to play the Braids. Should it be up there in there? Question mark. That's one that's going to cause a lot of debate. I got to say, I'm pleased to say it. See it, see it, and say it, and see it.
I hope that if nothing else, it being on the list means that people go and see the Braids for themselves. I say it's a debate that I often have with people after, because it's very close to where I live. A debate I often have when I come off the course with people who are playing it for the first time is, what could you do with this if you had a big checkbook? Like, if you had £20 million to spend, you could turn that into one of Scotland's absolute best golf courses. As it is, it's obviously run on a shoestring by the council with the other 5 courses that they've got in Edinburgh. But in terms of the conditioning, it's always very good for a municipal golf course. The routing it's got variety in spades, and yeah, there is lots of gorse that can gobble up a golf ball. Certainly, it's a intellectual and physical challenge playing that golf course.
Jen, so my question, Malcolm, my question, Malcolm, is, if you were coming to Edinburgh and the Lothians, and as we've discussed numerous times, Dave, we were discussing off air some of the pricing for some of the golf courses, not just in Edinburgh and Lothians, but in Scotland, increasing. They're only going one way. If you were going to come and put a list together of courses that aren't £250+ would you put Braids on there? And would what other courses in this list would you play? So I would definitely have it on there. And what's it going to cost you, Dave? 30, 35, 50, under 50 quid?
Yeah, I think it's £38. I think the last time I played there, certainly. So it's very, very reasonable. Again, I think anything off that list, off the list from 11 to 20, would be a great golf trip in itself. If you wanted to stay roughly within the confines of Edinburgh, then Braid Hills, Brunsfield Links, Duddingston, the Musselburgh golf clubs, which I know, Malcolm, are technically in East Lothian, but it feels
you're not technically in East Lothian, and they're certainly not in Fife. That's for blooming sure.
So we're coming.
That was a weak attempt.
They're easily accessible from the city. Shall we say that? Can we say?
So we're coming to Scotland. We want to put a recreational, affordable trip together. We're putting Braid Hills on there. For me, as you discussed, Malcolm, it's one that I find hard to miss because of everything that you mentioned. It's got a personal soft spot for me. Always talking about my favourite rounds when I talk about anything to do with playing golf here with my late uncle, my dad's twin brother. Had a great round up there with him, and it's always a fun place. But the views over Edinburgh, the quirkiness of it, it's fun. We talk about Shiskin being fun. We talk about North Berwick being fun. These ancient links, it's as fun as anything. Okay, it might not be as notable, but it's as fun as anything that you'll play. Square greens, love it.
No, indeed, and again, I think there's often a misconception that maybe that James Braid was involved in the design of the course, and he wasn't. It's just a coincidence that's the part that's named, shares his name, that part of the town. But he was a member at Edinburgh Thistle Golf Club, which did play over the Braid Hills course. So there is a James Braid connection, although he was not the architect of the course. But I think, Malcolm, you mentioned the Dispatch Trophy, that's run by the Scotsman newspaper, and it is a perfect match play course. There's challenges around every corner. There's not many gimme holes where you've got a nice kind of clean and unobstructed view of where you want to put the ball. A lot of the holes are cut on the side of a hill, so you need to be fading it up to one side of the fairway and then let it roll back down towards the middle of the fairway, that kind of thing, a few times. It's definitely one to play with a local as well, because there's some bits that are maybe not too obvious where you're actually going. So yeah, I think it's bold to put it so far up on that list. It's the top Edinburgh course on the list, but it's definitely one to get people talking. And as I say, I hope it just leads to more people going. But right behind it there, Broadsfield Links Golf Society. You'll tell me, Malcolm. Is it the oldest? I mean, it's up there as the oldest golf society in the world. Of that? Yeah. And a terrific rivalry between Bruntsfield Links and Royal Burgess, which is a neighbouring golf course that's right next to it. I would have liked to have been in the Royal Burgess members bar when this list came out to see that they're not on the list, but Bruntsfield Links is on the list. That could have been interesting because that rivalry is a heated one, certainly.
I think that's a bit of devilment in that list. Just do that. I think that's quite funny. I knew guys all over those golf courses.
Was that the biggest surprise for you, Dave, in that Edinburgh Lothians list that Burgess isn't on there?
Yeah, I think so. I think again, I would certainly, it would probably come in at 21 for me, certainly, and it would and it may push a few down the list as well. But yeah, it's both those courses share basically the same piece of land. Great views out over the Firth of Forth, both with fantastic history as well. I think you would not go wrong having a 36-hole day playing both those golf courses, and you could then join the debate over which one you prefer and which one's got the best features, certainly. So
okay, so we've got
1761. They'll come back, Ross. Was Bruntsfield started at Bruntsfield Links in Edinburgh, where the Golf Tavern is, which also dates way back to 1700s. Then it moved to Musselburgh, that place that's quite near Edinburgh in East Lothian. And there were through Honourable Company, they shared that golf course, and then it moved to its present location. So yeah, a lot of rivalry. But like the Honourable Company started at Leith, then also in the Lothians moved to Musselburgh, and then moved to Muirfield. So a bit of shifting around. Sorry, Roscoe, you were coming in.
Well, I was just going to say, to keep us on a roll, so we've got the Braid Hills. We're coming to Scotland. We want to put a trip together and make it as affordable as possible out of this list of top 20 Edinburgh and Lothians. What's next on the list that you've got to play after the Braids? Can I make my suggestion?
Please, Ross, please.
I'm going to stick local for me, local for the course where I'm a member. I'm going to put Craigielaw on that list. If I want to sample links adjacent, links style at an affordable price and in great condition and a real true test of golf, Donald Steele, to be confirmed with whether Tom McKenzie was involved at the time when Craigielaw was being built, because I believe Mr. McKenzie might have been working for Donald Steele at the time, so I'm told. But I'm putting Craigielaw on that list. Malcolm, what about you? You're a member of the course next door.
Craigielaw's a great golf course. Kilspindy's a great golf course. But what trip you do depends whether you're paying money or doing it on a budget. But the great thing about coming to Scotland anywhere, there are very few courses you wouldn't be happy playing around. And in a minute, Ross, maybe you talk about some other courses in Edinburgh, because you were talking about Enjoy Leisure doing a great job in keeping them going. And then after we've done that, we can maybe shift to Scotland's Golf Course, East Lothian, and talk a few about that. But it's very hard. There's nothing on there when to play. Duddingston is on there, and Duddingston's a fantastic golf course, parkland, but you got to think your way around it. The Edinburgh courses are a bit damper in the winter, but if you come in the summer, they're fine. There's a lot of the Edinburgh people playing their golf down in East Lothian, so they're kind of the winter course and summer course. Royal Musselburgh is a lovely course. It's the history there and all the rest of it, but you got to think your way around it. It's not that long. The Glen, very friendly. When we ran ducks, it came out very highly amongst our guests. If you're looking at price, views, friendliness, a couple of the holes, maybe not the first is maybe getting from A to B, but I mean, it's the 13th par 3, fantastic golf course. It's on a cliff. It's not links, but the views are just dynamic. I'm difficult for me. If you put me in a golf course anywhere, I'm pretty happy,
Mhm.
especially in Scotland.
Again, I think if we're talking, trying to bag more than one course a day, then, and I think Kilspindie and Craigielaw, because they're such a counterpoint to each other, they are, they have very different characters, a very different feel. Again, and would be a terrific 36-hole day, right? And similarly, like, so, maybe Old Musselburgh and maybe Royal Musselburgh together, because again they're very different, except and they are close together. So you're only a short drive between the courses, but again, it shows the variety that we're very blessed with here in Scotland. That we have those two courses so close together, but they are so unrecognisably different from one another.
Yeah, and one Kilspindie links and Craigielaw looks links, but it's not. One's farmland and one is total links. They can have an absolute definition of what's links and what's not. So Craigielaw does a great job. Roscoe, do you want to give a shout out other courses in Edinburgh? And then Dave, do you want to maybe a quick thing about where you might stay in Edinburgh?
Well, one of my favourite courses isn't on the list in Edinburgh, is Morton Hall. But in terms of other courses in Edinburgh that are here on this list,
No, not on the list. Just generally in
oh
Edinburgh.
right,
Just
okay, well,
lots of other courses.
yeah, lots of other courses. Well, you mentioned there before, the Edinburgh Council courses. We've mentioned it probably before. Probably sick of me saying it, but the job that the council does in Carricknell, Musselburgh, Silvernails, Craig and Tinney, Portobello. So it's not Musselburgh, Portobello, providing locals access to golf. If you walked off a plane and you said, let's go and stretch the legs, and you ended up at Silvernails, it's about 10 minutes from the airport, overlooking the Firth of Forth. You fly over it, actually flying into Edinburgh, and you whack the ball around for a couple of hours there. You're going to have change of 50 quid and you're not going to be disappointed. It's a council course, but, it's very playable. Morton Hall for me, that is a course not on the list there that I've always enjoyed playing. Not far from me, Kingsnow, also another course. You've got Prestonfield under the shadow of Arthur's Seat. Duddingston we've talked about. What else have I missed there, Dave, in terms of Edinburgh courses?
Again, on the edge of the town, I guess you've got the likes of Dalmahoy with the two courses there, Rathel Park, which is nearby. Then coming back in towards town, you've got your Babberton and Kingsnow, and Edinburgh is kind of known for its green spaces, and a lot of them are golf courses. And we're very blessed here actually in the city that we've got a remarkable number of golf courses on your doorstep. So yeah, and most of these, are not in the you must book this 18 months out category, right? These are you could literally turn up, wander into the pro shop, and you must maybe be able to get you out within half an hour. Go and grab yourself a coffee and a bacon roll in the clubhouse, and you'll maybe be able to get out shortly. It's I think that's where. I think at any trip to Edinburgh, whether it's intended to be a golf trip or not, can easily add a round of golf without too much trouble, basically.
Yeah, and I think if you're coming across with a family, you haven't brought your clubs, you can rent clubs in Edinburgh really easily, grab them and go and play one of these courses, and you'll have a ball. You really enjoy it. Edinburgh's got lots of accommodation. We're on a bit of a tight roll tonight, so we'll go into all the accommodation in Edinburgh, but there's plenty of websites that great hotels, bed and breakfasts, and so on and so forth. If you're playing golf in East Lothian, it's a bit of a drive getting out with traffic, if you do it every day. So, but there's plenty of golf to play in Edinburgh, and you can play golf in East Lothian without any problem staying in Edinburgh. Coming back to East Lothian, Scotland's Golf Coast, some great clubs on there, but one or two of the lesser known ones, guys.
I'm going to be, I think we've talked about it before. I'm not going to apologise for me again, though. And it's the wonderful Winterfield down near Dunbar. Again, it was local authority, and then it's been bought by the members recently, and they're doing a great job of maintaining that course. The first hole would give you an aneurysm, but the back nine particularly is fantastic. And seen him on a roll with 36 hole days. A 36 hole day of Dunbar and Winterfield, which again, a short drive from one another, would be, someone's idea of utter bliss. So
I think
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to come to Scotland's number one golf destination on Scotland's Gold Coast? And of course, Dunbar, Dunbar. This season they made a couple of changes, so you would have played the first and second as par fives, but this season now on you're going to play the second becomes the first, and the old first becomes the 18th. So that's in play now, and they're moving their clubhouses up. So a lot of work going on down there. But I quite agree. Two fantastic golf courses, and both clubs doing a lot of work, putting a lot of stuff work in there.
If I was just going to say, a lot of people are familiar with the view from North Berwick and looking out to the Bass Rock. It's quite famous, and it's hard to take a bad photo with from North Berwick and the Bass Rock in the background. Well, Winterfield is the closest geographically located golf course to the Bass Rock. It feels like you're under the shadow of it. If you want to see the Bass Rock up close in the background of your golf photos, you'll never get a better picture of it at Winterfield. I love that place. Really do have a lot of time for it.
An original 9-holer with another 9 holes now to make it 18. So it's it's a tremendous golf course. And Gifford up that way, the 9-hole golf course, took Rich Beam up there. We really enjoyed it. They were missing the 18th. One stage in the career, they were missing the 18th quite a lot, but they didn't realise they'd moved the flag in the clubhouse because that was the line. So everyone didn't know to move the flag, was hitting the ball in the wrong place. So you can play a loop of that twice to make it 18, but a great golf course there as well.
And sorry, Kilspin, another statuesque clubhouse. You talk about Royal Musselburgh. It's got a more of a castle than a clubhouse, and a little bit like Winterfield. Also has a very old statuesque clubhouse as well. It's quite unique.
Yeah, I mean, Kilspindy, if I've got one round of golf left to play in my life, it's probably going to be there. Ask me to go to Augusta or anywhere else. I've only got one round to play, maybe twice. I mean, the first hole plays out to the sea, and then the next 3 play down the sea, and it kind of goes. It's just the 4th hole. I think is one of the best holes in East Lothian. Not a long par 5. You got to keep it left and out the sea, and then you've got a very small green with water and everything else around about you. Unless you hit it well enough up there, you're a brave man to take that second shot on.
Talking about Craigielaw and Kilspindy, do you think we could ever convince them to do like a 36 combined loop? A little bit like what Lothian do.
So Craigielaw do quite a lot of golf packages, and those they do that quite a lot. And certainly there are numbers of tour operators that stayed with us in Ducks that did the same thing. Because Kilspindy and Gullin 3 are great courses to get off the plane and go and play. And then Long Nidri, which can't remember where it's in the rank. It is in the rankings, but Long Nidri, if you're finishing, the 15th comes to the clubhouse. So if you're in a bit of a hurry and you're trying to get back to a plane, you can play there. Long Nidri is a 3rd Heathland, a 3rd Parkland, and a 3rd Links. And Keith, that's there as the new boss guy, is doing a great job bringing up the rankings and clearing out vegetation so you get clear views of the sea. It's the roads between the sea and the golf course.
I want to see a combined loop between Craigielaw and Kilspindy. Play down to the 5th, jump onto the 18th, play out the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then come back to the 9th. Anyway, just a radical idea.
Yeah, no, it's a thought. I see what you mean. I didn't quite get your question because I'm a bit thick at duck.
I think again, maybe I've made this up or dreamt this or something, but I thought I had heard murmurs that at least the membership were going to be doing something where they do some kind of composite course. But again, that might have just been a fever dream.
And Craigielaw?
Yeah.
I've not heard that. I'll ask the question in the pub tonight.
Clearly, I have made that up, Malcolm.
There was at the beginning they were going to be run as almost as one club, and that didn't happen, and it was a little bit difficult. It didn't happen. So the first at Craigielaw is not where the first is now. It wasn't the opening hole, so it kind of changed around a bit.
Well, if you can champion the cause of the Kerr Flanagan Alliance there for a composite Kilspindy Craigielaw, we'd be much appreciated.
Okay, these things are very in vogue, as you say, leaving in London do reunite the original 2 9s. Down in Kent, you've got this Hagen event where they play they follow in Walter Hagen's footsteps and play all the 54 holes of Royal St George's, Cinque Ports, and Princes. So and obviously when we're into novelty, we want the old course in reversed. I think it's just a members thing where Prestwick and Troon, they play a 36-hole day, don't they?
Yeah.
Where they play, there will be the first 10 holes maybe at Prestwick, and then
Something like that.
finish 11, go from walk through the caravan park or around the caravan park, then start on 11 of Troon and play into the clubhouse, have quite a boozy lunch, and then play all the way back again, basically, and have a really boozy evening meal as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's precedence, so why not?
Yeah.
Kilspindie?
And the history of championship golf in East Lothian is phenomenal. It's the greatest concentration of championship links golf courses in the world. I've got my Scotland's Gulf Coast bylines coming out here, but Ayrshire you can play from coast to coast. I can hear Jamie Darning in my head, but it's just magical out here. But it is in Scotland wherever you're going. Whether you're Fife's a great region. Occasionally, it's nice when it rains in Fife. And
just clip that first bit. Just clip that first bit.
I have a question.
Ayrshire, the wet coast is pretty good. Highlands are coming on at a pace, and all the rest of it. Roscoe,
I have a question related to the top 10 of Edinburgh and Lothians. If you were looking for some value, but you wanted to throw one of the courses, we talked about Kilspindie, so tick that one off because it's in this group of courses that we would play with some value. If you wanted to put one of the other big ones in there, which one for value, for accessibility, what are you two guys putting into your must play when you come to Edinburgh and Lothians on a budget, on a time frame, I'm just dropped into town, I've got my Mackenzie bag in the car, off I want to go. Which are the big dogs are you picking?
They're kind of like Gullen 2 and 3 are they're just great value. They really are great value and tremendous golf course. They're only called 1, 2, and 3 because that's the order in which they were built.
Dave?
But yeah, 2 and 3 are great fun, certainly. Yeah, absolutely. I know we've talked about Dunbar already, but I think that feels like one that's a rising star and has really come on leaps and bounds in the last few years, and is attracting much more attention from your international golfer now than it did pre-COVID, let's say.
Pebble Beach is the Dunbar of America. That's an Eric Anders Lang quote. Sorry, I'm using that as well. But maybe one day we'll come back and do a longer thing in Edinburgh and out here. But we're blessed out here. East Lothian also a lot of change in the accommodation around about the golf courses. There's been a few changes, but you've got the Open Arms in Durleton, been taken over by Derek and Rebecca Webster. They've got a history of booze, and Derek's in the booze trade, and Rebecca ran accommodation in Edinburgh, and they're a very enthusiastic couple. I think going to do a lot of things for there. Nether Abbey Hotel and the Bonnie Badger have both been acquired by Buzzworks from Ayrshire. Buzzworks are a very, very smart firm. Jamie Crothwell's heading up the hotel side, so they're moving from restaurants into hotels, and I think what they're going to do is quite exciting. Grey Walls was brought a wee while ago by Marine and Lawn. Not Grey Walls, what it has been, that's been bought recently by Marine and Lawn, but then you've got the Marine at North Berwick, also bought by Marine and Lawn. So some new boys coming in, doing quite a lot. And then Gilmerton, exclusive use, there are quite a few exclusive use places. Lovely, lovely house that won the exclusive use, best exclusive use in the Scottish Golf Tourism Awards. Halfway houses. We don't have a lot of halfway houses, do we? We've got Renaissance. What else have we got?
Good point. Renaissance, Archerfield.
Archerfield. I haven't talked about Archerfield as well, because Archerfield, Dave thinks that Archerfield and what Kevin Doyle, Jerry Savadi at Renaissance has brought a huge amount of energy to the area, as has Kevin Doyle at Archerfield. And what they've done with both their places. I mean, Archerfield, 2 golf courses, 2 cracking golf courses, phenomenal accommodation. one of the best spas in the world, certainly one of the best spas in Europe, and that's all helped bring East Lothian, Scotland's Gulf Coast, up the rankings, and get more and more people come. So whether you stay in Edinburgh or you stay here, doesn't really matter, as long as you stop off and eat and drink in our wonderful area. Dave, any more halfway houses? I can't think of.
I'm struggling to find any more.
No, I don't think. I can't think there are.
Interesting.
So Malcolm,
Anything else we want to?
well, do you think with a reasonable degree of confidence that someone can come and have a high-end trip? We know that because, there's some expensive golf on there and some expensive accommodation. But, if someone wanted value, they're going to be able to get value accommodation, value eating, along with some of the value golf that we've pointed out along the way in the discussion tonight. Is that's true? I would say Craigielow offers exceptional value accommodation. Are there others?
Craigielow does very well. I mean, the Mallard got taken over and then changed name and taken over by Kevin Dole's guys. Well, they're pretty good. I don't know Bonnie Badger price are going to be, but we were talking about the price going one way. I'm not convinced that's true. I'm not sure how much higher it can go. When Neil Hampton was on, he was talking about, for the big places, peaking around, getting much past 400, and then the Tell's up at 400. But there's also the Leddy's new in East Lothian as well. My old place is now the Leddy. But I know there are some places that are not commanding what they did when they started off. So the other problem, I think, and Dave maybe speak a bit more, is it's getting so expensive. Say 400, 500 for your golf, 400 or 500 for your accommodation. If you're up at that end, that's a lot of money, and people who can afford to pay that, they don't. Availability, you're now booking 2 years out. A lot of these guys don't want to pay 2 years out. So I think there's a bit more availability than there used to be in the last year to 18 months. Whether that's going to change or not, with current world conditions. But I think it's also just pricing. As you move into different markets and you have different things begin to happen. Because if I can afford to go on a 10-day trip at £1,000 a day at £10,000, I'm not sure I want to book it 2 years ahead. I want to book it when I want to go. So that's no reflection of anything anyone's doing here. It's just how the markets begin to drift and shift. Any comments on that, Dave?
No, I think that's probably fair, Malcolm. I wonder if we have reached a tipping point. I think it was interesting to hear Neil's thoughts on it. In the same breath, though, your pricing's come out for Carnoustie Championship next year, and it's gone to £450 for a round of golf there. So, that is a 25% rise on 2026 price. So, it looks like, there are still some that are think that there's more to be made, and inflation busting prices or rises are still out there. But yeah, I think this is, if we try and put a positive slant on it, I think this list, for instance, that we've just talked through, shows you that, you can combine some of those amazing top tier golf courses where, there is a high sticker price, with some amazing options in that tier below, that are not going to cost you the earth. And I think that might be the future of golf trips to Scotland, is finding that blend where you tick a couple of the big boxes and then you add 4 or 5 other absolutely wonderful golf courses that are not going to, not in the same price bracket though. And just, that mix and match approach might be what we see people do more often.
And we can't go away without mentioning Muirfield. I mean, that is, it comes out top so many times and so high up the list, and it has done for so long. And it's the only golf course to have hosted virtually every single major championship. It's not just done the Open, it's done the Ryder Cup, it's done the Walker Cup, it's done Ladies Open, Men's Open, it's done, you name it, it's done it. And I think the great thing is it's what the golf clubs give back as well. They kind of, ride the currents and ride, what's happening. Golf tee time availability is very important, and that sometimes gives a difficulty irrespective of price, because post-COVID there's so many more people living out here and wanting to play golf, more members are playing. That puts a pressure. But you can come to Scotland, whether it's Edinburgh, East Lothian, Scotland's Golf Coast, Aberdeen, Highlands, Fife, Ayrshire, and there is some great golf on all those things. And have a look at the website, scotlandgolfbegan.com, and have a look. And any closing points, boys? We may come back and do a longer series on whatever and so on and so forth. Today's just been a quick bounce around these kind of things. We'll do some with the other areas as well.
Malcolm, my closing points are: I noticed your jacket that you've got on there. You're representing your other club tonight. Your Renaissance Club jerkin on. Maybe the next one we have to do a hole by hole, shot by shot analysis of the Renaissance Club. The three of us. That'd be a nice way to, add to the conversation.
And you want to do that on the golf course?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, got that.
I can't get it on any other way.
I'm really upset because they changed the route again, because the route, they've rerouted the bloody golf course again for the Scottish Open. Of course, the old route was called the Duck route because came up with that.
For what it's worth, Malcolm, I would have had the Renaissance a little higher up the list too. By the way.
Yeah, but again, I would have it number 2 without a doubt. And I know I'm biased, but I mean that's the great thing about these ratings. And I think what's nice about this is it's pushed some other places to different things. Another one I looked on today, Alistair came out, and there was all sorts of golf courses you never heard of in the top 20, which was brilliant. Because you look at them and then, well, where's that? I'll go and have a look. So it encourages people to look and find out. And the golf in Scotland is just amazing. And that's what we're here to talk about. That's what we're here to tell you guys listening about. Go look at the website. There's a link to every single golf course in Scotland. And nowhere's a bad place to go.
You know what else is fabulous in Scotland?
What's that?
A succulent Chinese meal. And I hear that our other co-host is waiting for one, and we're going to have to wrap it up. Dave Kerr is off for a succulent Chinese meal.
2-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
All right.
Anything else, Dave?
No, again, I think you've summed it up perfectly there, Malcolm. I think there's no such thing as a bad golf course in Scotland. You'll have a good time wherever you play. And I'd say for me, these lists, I find them really engaging, just to spark a conversation and get people talking about courses that we might not be talking about otherwise.
And that's our job, to tell you about all those great unknown golf courses right across the country. And you'll find them all on the website, scotlandgolfbegan.com. Go and have a look at the links there to all the things. Listen to the rest of the 1457 podcasts. Come and join the 1457 Society for £49. And it's been a delight to talk to you. Thank you very much to Roscoe and Dave. Always a pleasure, boys. And wherever you are, morning, evening, noon or night, look after yourselves, stay safe, and swing easy.